Hey guys, I'm Brogan, and today in this video we're going to unbox, demo, and review the AceMagician AM06 Pro Mini PC. Now this has some great specs on here, which we're going to dive into first and foremost. We've got the AMD Ryzen 7 5800U processor, delivering 8 cores, 16 threads, and speeds of up to 4.4 gigahertz. We also have that paired with the AMD Radeon graphics, which are great. We also have triple 4K display capabilities with this mini PC and 16 gigabyte DDR4 RAM. So we're going to take a closer look at the layout and design of this product, and then we're going to dive into it, jump into some games, and see what the performance is like. Let's dive into it. Alright guys, here is the box from AceMagician. We'll go ahead and start opening this up. I'll pull out all the contents of the actual package here. First off, we've got, of course, our mini PC itself. We also have power supply cable right here, HDMI cable. We've got a SATA connection right here as well, which you can actually connect internally in order to bring in an additional SSD or hard drive. We've got some set screws and our mounting bracket as well. We also get a user manual here, which is pretty straightforward. I'm very familiar with AceMagician. Walks through how you can actually set this up, different connections, how to install, of course, the SATA connection ribbon cable, and how to mount this to a TV or monitor here with the mounting bracket. So that's always crucial. We'll go ahead and get the box out of the way. Now let's take a closer look at the actual mini PC right here. So very compact. Everything on here is all plastic, so this is very much a lightweight mini PC. On the back side here, which we'll comb through first, we've got ourselves our power supply connection, which is a Type-C connection. Again, here's the power supply cable, Type-C at the end. That'll plug in right over here like so. Go ahead and remove that just for right now. Beside that, we have 2 Ethernet cables here, which do have some protective tape over the front of these so you don't get any dust or debris or damage to them in transit. We also have HDMI port right here, display port right here, and 2 USB-A ports. We have additional USB-A ports on the front panel though. First over here all the way to the right-hand side, your left, we have our audio jack connection, 2 USB 3 ports here, which are USB-A, and then a Type-C port. So between the Type-C port here in the front and on the back side, your display port and HDMI port, you get your triple display capabilities off of this right here. We already talked about the specs on here, which seem to be quite impressive. Power button right here on the corner, which I've seen a very similar model to this in the past, and the only thing that would concern me with that is if you were to drop this, if it landed, you know, kind of like that, I could see there being damage to that. Other than that though, there's really no issue with that at all. Now the sides here, a little bit of ventilation here, a little bit of ventilation down here as well. It looks like there would be more ventilation than there actually is, so I do want to make mention of that because you can see the way the light's hitting it right now. This darker area right here is the true ventilation, even though the grate is pretty much consistent all around here and then even on top. So a little bit of ventilation on the back as well. But let's actually open this up and see what it looks like inside. Oh, and actually the whole bottom here, hard to see, but there is ventilation in each of these cubes. So I would imagine our cooling fan is somewhere in there, so that could be a great way to kind of disperse heat and, you know, keep the whole unit nice and cool. But let's open this up and take a quick peek inside. Here we have the 2 gold, you know, screw holes here would be where we actually go ahead and use our mounting bracket. But I want to open this up and just see what everything looks like inside, what the layout is like. So let me grab a screwdriver and pop this sucker open. So the nice thing about this design on this mini PC is, quite frankly, the fact that we don't have to remove the corner feet here. The rubber feet are actually built around the screw head, so the whole thing comes out as one piece. You don't have to peel anything off or do any of that annoying stuff. You just simply unscrew the screws, pop them out, and you'll be able to remove the bottom panel. All right, painless. Now, the whole bottom here comes out freely. There's no ribbon cables or anything that you have to be concerned with. There is a spot right here where you can actually bring these screws into the mix here, and you could fasten a SSD or hard drive to the bottom side right here, and then with your SATA connection, you would connect over to that SSD or hard drive, and then this would actually fix right into this position right here. drop down the little locking mechanism, and there you go, you have your SATA connection within. So that's a great way to expand upon the storage space here, but we do have a 512 gigabyte M2 SSD already pre-installed in here with Windows 11, so that is very convenient. Of course, we have our RAM over here as well. So now no cooling fan down here, integrated into this. Usually we would see a cooling fan kind of built into this right here. So I'm going to be paying close attention to airflow on here. And of course, we want to make sure that this isn't going to overheat or anything like that. But it is a nice layout within, very easy to go in here and mess with the RAM if you ever wanted to upgrade that. Same thing with the M2 SSD right here. There's only one M2 SSD slot on here. But we, of course, have that SATA connection, which does exactly the same thing in the end. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back in place here. We'll fire this up, and then we will jump into some games to test out the performance. Alright guys, we just jumped into the AM06 Pro mini PC from AceMagician, and we had a very good experience here. Now we have the AMD Ryzen 7 processor paired with the AMD Radeon graphics. We have triple 4K display capabilities, 16 gigabyte DDR4 RAM, so all in all, the specs on here are pretty impressive. Now, the price point at the time of this recording, granted, we are in the Black Friday sale period right now, so it's about 23% off, we're looking at $269.99 for this mini PC. And based on the performance that we got out of it, I think it's a really affordable price point for what you get. There's definitely bang for your buck here. Now, it's not 100% great across the board here. There are limitations with gaming. I jumped into the more high-end retro video game emulation collections today and emulators. I found that original Xbox, which can be a little bit dicey just because the emulation on that isn't 100% perfect by any means, but the titles that I jumped into today, I have a good experience with those. I've used them on multiple devices, and with this mini PC, it wasn't perfect there. There's times where it kind of is a little bit glitchy or a little bit laggy, but everything else besides original Xbox I had a good experience with, including PS3 today. There will be some limitations with PS3 titles on here, but I jumped into a couple today, and they were very good. So, all things considered for retro video game emulation, this will have your back and deliver very good performance. Now, I can't say that all Nintendo Switch games or Wii U games will work, but the majority should on here. I jumped into some, didn't show everything in this video in an effort to keep things short and sweet, but I jumped into original Xbox. You saw what that was like. There is a little bit of a setback there at times, but still very much playable, and it was a fun, experience at the end of the day. So, everything prior to those higher end collections like Xbox, GameCube, Wii U, Nintendo Switch, everything older, so we're talking about like Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, NES, N64, Saturn, stuff like that, PlayStation, PlayStation 2, all of that's going to run without any issues whatsoever. So definitely keep this in mind for retro video game emulation. For AAA gaming, it's hit or miss. It's a roll of the dice. Some games work great, some games are laggy and just really slow and unenjoyable. So very hit or miss there. I wouldn't recommend this for AAA gaming, but if you have this for retro video game emulation, you want to try a few AAA games, you may get lucky. And I did today. It was good for some things, but not all games. Now this is an all plastic enclosure here. It's lightweight, it's compact, but you run the risk of having durability issues. If you drop this, it could crack, it could break, it could have significant damage. The power button, while it functions beautifully, it's on the corner. If you were to drop it on that corner, I've seen this design with a couple different models. If you were to drop it on that corner, I think it would have significant damage, and it could compromise, the entire functionality of the mini PC. So not crazy about that, from a design standpoint. Now, the other thing that concerns me is the airflow on here is not great. We walked through the ventilation as we kind of toured through the layout today, and it's got very minimal ventilation, and this does warm up quite a bit. Now, I was jumping into the more demanding stuff, of course. I played for about 2 hours today, but it still feels pretty warm to the touch here, and that could become an issue, if you're playing on here long term. So definitely would limit what I put this to the test with. Avoid AAA games for the most part on here, and you should be in good hands. I think that price point definitely aligns with what you get here in terms of performance. I would definitely recommend this for video editing as well. I edited some videos on this today. The triple 4K display capabilities were great on here. You can get multiple displays up and running at the same time. It's quick. It provides enough power and reliability to get through office tasks. Home office use would be great on here. Video editing, as I mentioned, for me personally was good on here. So as a home office sort of, mini desktop PC, it's great. Gaming, old school games, going to deliver a great performance, but stay away from the AAA titles for the most part. Other than that, great mini PC here, great, affordable price point. I wouldn't say that it's worth much more than $350. I think at that price point, you can start getting yourself into slightly better performing products, but at this current price point, I think it's a home run and definitely, lines up with what the expectations would be for something like this. So that's going to do it for today. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up on the video. It's a huge help to me here on YouTube. Hit subscribe to stay in the loop for all future videos, and click the link at the top of your screen to get some additional information on this mini PC. I'll also provide the same link in the description as well. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.